We're on the record in docket 22-04404. That's a Monopoly Apartments LL versus Sam Johnson Bay. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Thank you, Sam Dua here on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right, this is the time set for a motion to set aside the possession of judgment, and it was filed on May 5th by Mr. Johnson Bay, and his indication was that his residence had a bed bug problem, and he attached information. Now, I gotta say for the record that I'm wary of this initially, but it came to me, and he had money to put in escrow. So he put the money into escrow. There's $300 in escrow. But as I went through his paperwork, all of his paperwork is from being treated for this is from 2022, November of 2022, May of 2022. And then we have something from the Great Lake Clinics that would indicate out of 2000. So that didn't make any sense. And the nature of the order kind of makes sense and kind of doesn't. But I granted it based on the 1 month rent that was deposited. We're now set for formal hearing today. It was set for certificate of mailing was sent out. Notice of hearing was set on the May 15th date in front of myself. And it appears that Mr. Sam Johnson Bay has failed to appear, and he previously failed to appear on March 22nd. And that's why we had the default judgment. So I think every opportunity's been given for this individual, at least from my perspective. And so this was scheduled for 2:30. It is now 3:04. It would appear that the defendants failed to appear for the motion to set aside eviction. And so I'm gonna deny I'm assuming you object to the motion.
Correct, Chairman.
So I'm gonna deny the motion to set aside, not only for argument for default purposes, because he's not here. I'm gonna indicate that the plaintiff is entitled to the escrow payment to plaintiff for appearance in the matter. So the motion to set aside is denied. And the eviction to continue. All right. So we once again have a fail to appear at the motion to set aside. Anything else for the record in docket 22-04404, Mr. Dua?
Just a question here. Was an order of eviction filed by plaintiff in that case?
Yeah, well, it never got that far.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. I think we called you to inform you of the stay on May 5th.
Okay.
There's indication, but it was late. It was late, but it never got to the eviction. Yeah.
Thank you.
To that.
Nothing further.
All right. Thank you. That's all for the record. 22-04404. I can call Mr. Walling's case. So, Mr. Walling, you can just come on up and you can have a seat right there. So we're on the record in docket 23-00523. That is Randy Walling versus Juanetta Springer, Christopher Sparks, and Diana Sorrow. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Randy Walling.
Okay, Mr. Walling, you're here for the plaintiff in this proceeding. This is a terminancy of tenancy hearing. It was scheduled for 2:45. It is now 3:06. It would appear that defendant 1, Springer, defendant 2, Sparks, and defendant 3, Sorrow, are all failed to appear for hearing. And I'm assuming, Mr. Walling, at this point in time, you'd want a default judgment.
Yes, sir.
I will indicate for the record, we previously met on February 15th, 2020. All parties appeared. They were told to be here live in person for a live hearing. So the default's granted orally. What you're gonna have to do is submit an order to me to sign it, and that's when that's when everything will take place. You have it with you. All right. So if you approach, I'll take a look at the order. Thank you.
Thank you.
So default judgment in the amount of right to recover and past payments. And then there was a money judgment. Damages. All right, I'll sign. Is possession still an issue in this case?
I don't believe so.
But
Drove by there today and it's looking pretty empty, although
Okay.
the keys have not been returned.
All right. Sir, do you have a case today? What's your name?
Sam Johnson Baker.
Okay, that's the case. We just called your case, but we'll go back on the record on that, okay?
So much say.
All right, so Mr. Walling, I've signed the order. You can get a copy from Mr. Neves. You should be all set, okay? Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Dua, this is the case. So the last case, all right. All right, Mr. Johnson Bay, if you come on up. We had just denied your motion. Right,
Well, you know, that's what they
so
stole.
you can have a seat right there.
They stole my truck.
All right. All right, so we're back on the record, docket 22-04404. Mr. Johnson Bay has appeared, and so we had you fail to appear as you were 30 minutes late. So Mr. Johnson, this is your motion to set aside the order. I guess you were failed to appear on March 22nd, 2023. And that's when the default judgment was granted on the March 22nd date. So what is the basis for your objection?
All right. I've been there for 7 years, sir.
So why weren't you here on March 22nd?
Well, I didn't see no ground for them to have me in court. My truck been stolen.
Really
and
not much of that's not an excuse for not coming to court. The fact that you thought you shouldn't be in court doesn't mean anything.
I hadn't done nothing.
But Mr. You understood you needed to be in court on March 22nd.
I understand all that.
So you chose not to come to court, and then what happens when you don't come to court is there's a default judgment.
They had sent me those about 4 different times. Meanwhile, I've been fighting big bulls, bakeries, being stalked.
Okay, that doesn't change the fact that you're supposed to be here on March 22nd, and that was the order. Okay, so that's what we're fighting here. I've given you the opportunity to set aside this eviction because you're coming here to explain to me why. And what you've told me is I didn't want to come to court.
I attempted to pay them. Tri-County can vouch it. First, the lady said, all right, they want to rent.
Do you dispute that you own the money?
No, sir, I'm trying to tell you what happened. I've attempted to pay them. The lady told Tri-County she can vouch on it, she's my confidant, that if I don't stop raising the issue or the problems in the bed book, then that's the only way they accept the money.
So she told you to raise an issue that was not an issue.
No, she told me the issue that I raised, she told Tri-County that if I keep speaking on that, they don't want me there. That the only way they're going to accept the 4,000 that I owe was that I stop speaking on the things that's wrong with the place.
All
The
right.
lady that can vouch is Sharon, who was my confidant.
All right. The information I have concerning your paperwork is that you were treated by Sparrow Hospital on November 16th of 2022. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, but I've been seeing my other doctor at Forest Community.
All right, but that's not that I have a indication that you were seen by for x-rays by David McCants at Great Lakes Medical Clinic. But that's dated May 28th of 2002.
Some of those are requests from the Department of Rehabilitation, because I'm going back to Barber College, so they wanted things to make sure that.
But I don't know how that
So
supports
some of
your
it-
motion.
Well, there might have been a paper that I just had in there, but here's the paper that,
But-
I thought I gave them all of them. Here's-
I don't know. I've got also another paper out of the year 2000 concerning your hypoglycemia.
All right, here's.
But I want a paper that indicates why you weren't here on March 22nd.
Well, I can tell you what the lady told me. She had got personal, and she told the lady at Tri-County that the only way that they were going to accept my payment of the rent is that if I stopped speaking about the bed bugs and the other issues that were going on.
Okay, so you
we didn't
decide,
know what
so
they-
you decided not to come to court on March 22nd based on what that woman told you?
Well, she didn't tell me that. She told Tri-County that, my counselor there, Sharon. And each time that they would attempt to pay, it would be an argument. I wasn't there, but Tri-County.
I wasn't there either.
I can only say what the lady told me, and I got.
Right. Well, I'm trying to make a decision based on your motion to set aside the possession of judgment based on your fail to appear. That's when the default was granted, because you failed to appear. And you're indicating in your motion that the residence has a bed problem. The doctor's statement's attached. I read the doctor's statement. It's almost 7 months old, okay? That there's dope dealers, trash, and elimination in hallway. There's uncleanness in the building, and that there's, as I see it, a problem brought by multiple dope dealers. This is your motion to set aside the conviction is based on that, but none of that explains to me why you failed to appear on March 22nd.
Since it's all of the problems that I've had to deal with, that how could I end up in court? And
So you chose not to come to court on March 22nd.
I didn't feel I was even supposed to be here, sir.
All right. Well, you were wrong. I don't know how else to tell you. Yeah, you were wrong. You were wrong not to be here. And so I ordered a default judgment, and now you're contesting the default judgment because you're saying I didn't want to come to court and I shouldn't be here.
Based on all the things that I've had to deal with, that I haven't enjoyed basically no time at this place.
Well, maybe it's time to
I'm-
get a new place.
Well, that's what I got a person I'm dealing with now where I can get me a house where I won't have to be bothered with
But
neighbors
well,
like this. Because I'm going back to college and I don't want to be bothered with these type of things.
well, how soon can you be out of that place?
I need about 2 months.
No, that's not going to happen. That's absolutely not going to happen.
How much time can you give me to get out of it?
I
I
mean,
got to have help.
your eviction, this is staying your eviction. So once I indicate that the eviction is no longer stayed, it'll be the date from the date it would be one date from you should have been evicted today. we set this was set on May 5th, ex parte order to stay eviction. And it's set for May 15th. I think you defaulted on March 22nd. So, I mean, you're already past your time. So I'm going to ask you again, how fast can you get out of the house?
Can you give me 30 days?
I can give you 10 days.
That's gonna be a quick one, but I've already started to pack. I got a lot of things packed up in 2 men in the truck. Try kind of gonna have them assist me on moving.
Mr. Dua, do you have? I know you object to the motion to set aside on default. I don't know what your client. I'm going to deny the motion. Okay, I'm denying the motion to set aside the possession judgment because you just haven't given me a good reason why you weren't here on March 22nd. Right? I know that's what it comes down to. Okay, I wanted to hear it to make sure I understood the reason, because it's for a fail to appear. If you were in the hospital, if you had some reason that you couldn't appear, I certainly would say. But your first answer to me was, I didn't believe I needed to be here. Well, that's not an answer. Okay, that's really not an answer. So you didn't come because you chose not to come. Well, that's a default judgment. Now I'm looking to Mr. Dua, the plaintiff. We have the stay in eviction. I think he says he can get out in 10 days is fast for him. What's your stance on this?
Thank you. Your Honor, as I know you're well aware, what we're looking for here in a motion to set aside is a good cause and meritorious defense. I for one, without belaboring the subject, don't feel that the defendant has shown either of those, because I would assume, although please recall, I don't have my file in front of me, it seems to me that there must have been personal service in this matter, which means he was served with the summons and complaint in order to get the default on the March 22nd date. So he was actually physically handed the summons and complaint, ordering him.
He had
from the
personal
court.
service.
Correct, Your Honor. And to me, when that's ignored as an officer of the court, that's a pretty big deal, in my opinion, to not at least call or seek legal counsel or what have you, especially when he has the disposal of Office of Tri-County Office of Aging. It sounds like he's readily in touch with them. Anyhow, that being said, we would stipulate to a 10-day stay and renewal of the order of eviction, or the ability to file the order of eviction on the 11th day, Your Honor.
So, all right. So this is what I'm going to do. So I find there's no meritorious defense. Good cause was not shown. Okay. I'm going to deny the motion to set aside. The default judgment. And we'll grant you 10 days. All right. This is, I mean, we're going back to March 22nd when this was initially, when the initial default. I think that's fair. Okay. That gives you some time to get your stuff, because you don't want the sheriff going through your stuff and taking them out. That's what you want to avoid, right?
In 7 years, I got a lot.
Okay. So with that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the 25th. So
Can I
vacate.
have to the 3rd when I get my check, along with the help I get from Tri-County?
I don't think payment's not an issue anymore. It's just,
Well, I need more finance to help relocate, sir.
Your Honor, if I may,
okay,
please
sure.
grant him till the 3rd. It sounds like he's on a fixed income and his
Oh,
money may come in on the 3rd.
So it'd be June 3rd.
Yes, sure.
All right.
Thank you.
So-
Additionally, Your Honor, if you could release the escrow back to the defendant in order to
I
assist
will.
him further, that would be great.
All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right. So we'll make June 3rd the vacate date,
I appreciate that, Your Honor.
and then we will return escrow to the defendant tenant, which would allow you some money to find a new place.
I appreciate
All right.
that. I appreciate that. I'm talking to a new landlord that has some housing. So,
All right, so Saturday, so it'll be Saturday, June 3rd.
okay, thank you, I appreciate that, sir.
All right, so I've denied your motion to set aside. We've extended the date to June 3rd, 2023. I'm giving you back your escrow money. It's $300 to go towards, so the vacate date is set for June 3rd. I'm denying based on lack of good cause and no meritorious defense, but you have till June 3rd to move out. All right, sir?
Fine.
All right. Anything else, Mr.
I'm
Dewar?
halfway
Nothing
packed
further,
up,
Your Honor. Thank you.
That's good. I've been packing up.
All right, all right. Anything else on docket 22-04404, Mr. Dewar?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Where I get that escrow from? Down at the office?
I think go back to the civil department. I would guess you go back.
Take some time.
Yeah, I think you go back to the civil department to make sure they return the escrow. I've written it in the file that the escrow is to be returned to the tenant.
Okay, I'm gonna go down there when I leave out here and see how long it's gonna take.
I'll write it twice just so they see that. All right, you're all set, sir. Thank you for your
Thank
appearance
you
today.
so
Okay,
much. Yeah, Mr. Flores.
correct.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.